So you're running ads on TikTok, and you need to know your real return on ad spend. Today, we are going to dive deep and fix a really common but absolutely critical blind spot, getting your TikTok conversion postbacks configured the right way. And look, this is about more than just tracking clicks. It's about tracking actual value. Let's get this data pipeline working for you. Let me ask you a question and be honest. Is your TikTok ROAS a hard number you can take to the bank? Or is it, well, kind of a guess? If you're not 100% confident in that number, it's almost certainly because your setup is missing the single most important piece of the puzzle, the actual monetary value of each conversion. All right, here's our game plan for this walkthrough. We're going to start by really nailing down that blind spot. Then we'll connect the platforms and configure them to pass true conversion value. After that, we'll lock in the tracking link, and maybe most importantly, we'll audit the data flow to make absolutely sure everything is firing perfectly. Okay, first things first, let's talk about this blind spot. It's not that people aren't tracking conversions at all. The problem is they're failing to tell TikTok what each one of those conversions was actually worth. And without that value, you're basically asking the algorithm to fly blind, which makes it impossible to get a clear picture of your real profitability. So let's be super clear about what we're building here. A conversion value postback, it's just a server-to-server message, but it adds this critical layer of intelligence. Instead of just telling TikTok, hey, a sale happened, you're telling it, hey, a $57 sale just happened. And that is the key to teaching TikTok's algorithm how to find you more high-value customers. Now, before we touch a single setting in the platform, we have to talk about a non-negotiable first step. You absolutely must be using direct linking. Why? Because redirect links can completely break the attribution chain. They get flagged, they get stripped by other systems. For this setup to work reliably, direct linking is mandatory. End of story. Okay, with that out of the way, let's jump into the core platform. Our next job is to create what I like to call the digital handshake between your account and the TikTok Ads Manager. This connection is what forges that secure pathway for your conversion data to flow exactly where it needs to go. You're going to want to follow this path precisely. We're heading into the integrations library, specifically for media buying and finding TikTok. Now, when you connected, the most important field here is your TikTok Pixel ID. This tells our system exactly which advertiser account in TikTok needs to get this conversion data. Seriously, double-check that ID before you hit save. And this, my friends, brings us to the most important part of this entire setup. We've built the bridge between the two platforms. Now we need to tell the system exactly what kind of valuable cargo to send across that bridge. This is where real ROS optimization actually begins. Let me be crystal clear on this. If you get this next step wrong, you have basically done all of this work for nothing. TikTok's algorithm will still be flying blind, optimizing for simple clicks or maybe basic conversions. We need to give it the data it needs to actually make you more money. All right. Head back into the TikTok integration settings you just created. You're looking for the Properties section. This is where we define the custom pieces of data we want to send over. You're going to add a new property, and the name for it is very specific. It has to be the lowercase word value. That's the key that TikTok's API is listening for. Now for the magic. In that value field you just created, you have to insert either the @payout amount or @sale amount macro. Now, these aren't just pieces of text, they are dynamic placeholders. When a conversion happens, the platform automatically replaces this little bit of code with the actual dollar amount of that specific sale. This is the engine that passes true value. Perfect. The postback is now armed and ready to send the value back to TikTok. But how does TikTok know which click actually gets the credit for that value? Well, we close the loop by properly tagging the tracking link before it ever leaves the platform. Here is your final essential check. The tracking link you use in your actual TikTok ads must have the ttclid =click ID parameter tacked onto the end. The ttclid is just TikTok's unique click ID, and that _click ID macro allows TikTok to stick a unique identifier on every single click. Without this, the postback fires into the void. It has no way of connecting that valuable conversion back to the specific ad that drove it. So you followed every single step. You think it's working, but how do you know? You don't guess, and you don't just stare at your TikTok dashboard hoping the numbers go up. You verify the data at the source. It's time to pop the hood and look at the engine. This is how you debug like a pro.
Inside the core platform, you're going to navigate to the Partner Postback Report. This log shows you every single server-to-server call that's being made to your partners, in this case, TikTok. Just filter for your TikTok integration, run a quick test purchase, and then find that conversion right here in this log. When you find that test conversion and look at the raw server response, this is the magic phrase you are looking for. Success, yes, and a response code, 200. A 200 code is the universal signal for OK, or success in web language. If you see this, you have hard confirmation that TikTok servers received your data loud and clear. You are good to go.
So let's recap the crucial points from this whole diagnostic. Number 1, direct linking is your foundation. It's mandatory. 2, that payout amount macro is the critical step for real ROAS optimization. 3, the TTCLID parameter on your URL is essential for attribution. And 4, your ultimate proof, your ground truth, is found by auditing the raw logs in the Partner Postback Report. And that just leaves us with one final thought. Getting this data pipeline built correctly is the first and honestly the most important step. Because now that you have accurate, value-based ROS flowing directly into TikTok, the entire game changes. You can finally move from just tracking performance to actively optimizing it, building lookalike audiences of your highest value customers, and scaling your campaigns with total confidence. The real work and the real fun starts now.